Everyone, welcome to my live for today. So this is called how to define success for yourself, because in my last live I said that the word success is something that we need to define for ourselves. So how do we do it? So to review just a little bit. So success, the root of it is like from to come after or to pursue. So it's like success is something that we pursue, right? And it always comes at the end of a process, right? Uh, but what I think is interesting, like maybe to reframe this a little bit and to think about it a different way, it's like that we're always pursuing things. And in fact, existence itself seems to be, sort of this process of pursuit. And it's because we all exist in time, and time is a strange thing. I think about it a lot. It's just a very strange part of existence, but it forces us into this sequence, right? This succession of events, that we all have to, I don't know, participate in, right? Whether we want to or not. So because of this sequence and because of this succession of events, success is in a way inevitable for us. So the question is, how are we defining it? Because that changes the way that we deal with that, kind of succession of events that we find ourselves in. And I think what I'm finding um, about the work that I do, coaching and consulting with leaders and visionaries, is that it is this awareness, this understanding that brings them, it helps them create a greater awareness. And just from this awareness, the actions change and then the results change. And more and more people are telling me that there's this sort of subliminal effect of spending time with me, of spending time in a space that I cultivate to, kind of contemplate this question of leadership, this question of success, this question of being a visionary and what we pursue. So I do have a program launching next week, and it's called Your Next Steps to Success. Whoever you are, wherever you find yourself, there's steps towards success that you're taking anyway, but that you can be aware of and take differently. That's really what the process is saying, what steps am I taking anyway? Because I have to take steps. So as long as I have to take steps anyway, what steps do I want those to be? And then your definition of success changes. So today we're going to talk about how to define success. But at the end of this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the program. And next week, there'll be more details. So how do we define success? So I have a framework to help people do this. It's from a larger framework that I've created. It's called the Metaphysics of Leadership and Creation. And we're going to talk about this part right here, because this is how we have to start. This is where we find the journey of the individual. So I'm going to describe this. I'm not going to keep it up here. But if you're interested to dive more into that, I flesh it out in, kind of painstaking detail in this book called The Complete Science of Human Dynamics, which you'll get, among other things, for joining that program that launches, or that opens up next week. So I call it the 5 spheres of leadership influence. And I talked about these a little bit on the last video. So there's the self, there's the family, the team, the community, and the species. And, you find yourself in the midst of all that. So everyone has, these sort of 2 conditions, is the way I think about it. And they're related conditions. One is frustrations and the other is aspirations. And I like to say they're mirror images of one another. And if you think about your life and you think about, the way you exist in all those spheres, you will find them, you will discern them. So a frustration is something that we have but don't want, right? We all have those. And then an aspiration is something that we want but don't have. And I always tell people, like, these are your guiding stars, right? Because we're locked into time. We have to keep taking these sequential actions, these successive actions, that lead to the success that we seek. So what are you unhappy with that you don't want, you want to get rid of? And then what are you unhappy with that you want and you want to bring into your life? And where is it for yourself, for your family, for your team, for your community, and for the species level? And to me, that's, I think, how we define success. So if that's speaking to you, and if you'd like to spend time, if you'd like to spend time in a contemplative space where we get into all that and, we slow down and we ask, okay, how do we really define success? What are the frustrations and the aspirations that, that we're enduring and that we desire in all those spheres, right? The self, the family, the team, the community, and the species. Then your next steps to success might be the right step for you. And, what I think is interesting is that the fact that we have frustrations and aspirations, things that we have but don't want. Those are the frustrations. And then things that we want but don't have. Those are the aspirations. They point to something. And that something is the ideal. It's an improved version of life that we're constantly comparing our present to. And when we get clear on that, then we can take steps to move closer to that ideal, since time moves us there anyway. Now, the cruel irony or the cruel paradox is that we never hit that ideal, not in space time. It's not possible. But but many great philosophers have discerned that effect that the ideal has on us, on our minds and our spirits, and our outlooks. Plato's one. He saw an idealized version of everything in this realm of forms, right? And so that shows me that we are all sort of constantly comparing our life to like an ideal form of it. And when we get clear on that, we can be very, very intentional in our actions and get closer and closer to that ideal. Hegel was another one who sort of saw history as this sort of grand working out. And, we all have our place in it. Some people thought that Hegel was far too impersonal when he described this, but I definitely see, I resonate with that kind of thinking. I think he showed us that we are stuck in time and that we're all sort of moving towards something. So what are we moving toward? That's our ideal, and that's what we're going to get clear on. And we have an ideal for ourselves and our family and our community and our team and our species. And, we can work toward all of those in different measure. And that's what we're going to get clear on. And the result is peace and success. And that's how we define success for ourselves. So if you would like to spend a couple months with me really digging into that process for yourself and transforming your life, as this works, in a subliminal way and changes your behavior, then I highly recommend Your Next Steps to Success. So I'm launching details about that next week. There's an early bird discount that expires on Friday, November 22nd. So you'll have to act quickly. And it's limited to just 4 people. So me and 4 other people. So again, if it speaks to you, don't wait too long, because I expect it to fill quickly. So that's Your Next Steps to Success. I'm going to be dropping details and registration information and opening that up on Monday. Monday is the 18th. There'll be a couple more teasers like this between now and then. And then the early bird discount expires on Friday, November 22nd. So watch for that. That's Your Next Steps to Success, or YNS2S, so that you can come and very, very deliberately and very intentionally and very contemplatively define what success means for you, and subliminally change your actions so that you get closer to the success you seek and find peace and prosperity and wholeness in the process. All right, thanks for joining me, everyone. I will see you again soon for another live, and I'm not sure what I'll talk about, but it'll be related to success as you define it. All right, thanks so much, everyone. I will talk to you soon.